Assalamu alaikum to everyone watching. Happy Ramadan Kareem. Of course, this is Ramadan season, so sit, relax, watch, and learn. This is our first episode of the Ramadan series, and today I will be discussing the only month of Ramadan and appraisal of the social benefits for our society. Of course, I have a scholar on the show, Sheikh Abubakar Musa. Sheikh Abubakar Musa is an IOP certified Sharia advisor and auditor with over a decade of experience in Islamic financial services. He's also the chairman of the Trust Actor Advisory Committee of Experts. Welcome to this very special interview and happy Ramadan Kareem to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so very much. I'm pleased to be here.
My pleasure. So let us start the conversation. There is a lot to discuss on Ramadan. Well, let me start with the fact that Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar observed by Muslims worldwide as a month of fasting, prayer, reflection, and community. Also, it is one of the most renowned religious rituals in the world, which more than 1 billion Muslims take part. Now, the question now is, as a Muslim scholar and sheikh, could you give us an overview of what we need to know about Ramadan, like what we need to know more about Ramadan? What is your definition of the purpose of Ramadan? What should we look out for or try to achieve in Ramadan, and particularly how it benefits society?
Ramadan is one of the pillars of Islam.
Yes.
Just like how Muslims daily pray, five times in a day, and with some extra prayers, Ramadan is one of the pillars. Therefore, a Muslim will complete his party, which is the nafila or the supplementary fasting. So Ramadan, the original name Ramav, is like somebody who is thirsty, because as when you observe Ramadan, you actually feel thirsty. And being a Muslim, being conscious of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are actually having a covenant within you and Almighty Allah, because so many people out there will be standing and looking at you. No, but until you tell others that you are fasting, people will know that you're fasting.
Exactly.
So the Ramadan is one of the practices that Almighty Allah decides to instill in Muslims, such that throughout your life you will be consuming, you'll be eating, drinking, but you have a time when you would reserve to learn that particular aspect of life that the poor human being, the poor in your society, they face. Some of them, they sleep nights without eating. So Ramadan is an exercise that Sharia wants you to imbibe in your life, because the Lord of Ramadan is the Lord of all other months. So Ramadan, if you observe the Ramadan, you are actually completing part of the pillars of Islam. So Ramadan is designed to allow us imbibe the virtues of the God-fearing, because even in the verse of the Quran, it says that لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you would increase in taqwa. And what is taqwa? Taqwa means the fear of God. Thank you. So the fear of God means, according to Ali bin Abi Talib, and says that al-khawf min al-jalil, that fear of God means you are scared, you fear Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you do not commit sins. Wal amal bitanzil, you try to practicalize the Sharia itself.
Exactly.
By fasting Ramadan, it's like you are signifying that you are practicalizing Sharia, even when people might not know whether you are actually fasting or not. You know that you are fasting within yourself. Al-amal bitanzil, and also you are practicalizing the Sharia. Wal isti'dad lirrahil, and you're also preparing for the hereafter. It means that we are fasting, we have that hope that we will be rewarded. So this is Ramadan, what it signifies. I know that this is a very brief statement that cannot encompass everything about Ramadan, but we just try to touch so that people will understand that Ramadan is a pillar, just like going to Hajj is a pillar.
One of the five pillars of Islam.
One of the 5 pillars of Islam, yes.
So how does it benefit the society as a whole?
Okay. Now, first of all, as an individual,
Okay.
when you observe the Ramadan, you are actually training your desires. You are taming your desires. You are training yourself to inculcate the ability to withstand stress, to withstand hunger, to withstand thirstiness. Because if you get this training in a year, we don't pray for any eventualities, but when it happens with Ramadan, with the ability, with the lessons you learn from Ramadan, you would be able to withstand this stress. We don't pray for those calamities to happen, but if they do happen, then Sharia is actually equipping you with that training that if it happens, we don't hope it happens, but if it does happen, then you will be able to imbibe that patience that Ramadan teaches you. Ramadan teaches you patience. It teaches you the ability to prevent yourself from committing sins. Because the Prophet ﷺ said that من لم يدع قول الزور والعمل به فليس لله حاجة أن يضع طعامه وشرابه. Anyone that is unable to prevent himself from frivolity, things that do not, meaningless things, talks that do not add value to the society, issues that do not add meanings to human beings' life, then there is no need for you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't add any value for you to be fasting if you can keep doing the old attitude that you are doing before. So which means Ramadan tries to refine you as a human being.
Exactly.
Imbibe the heart of sacrifice. So Ramadan is actually sacrifice. Because number one, you sacrifice from eating. You do not eat.
Yes.
You sacrifice from doing other bad things that probably you might be inclined, Shaitan may make you to incline to do. Then you sacrifice your food to the poor. Because in Ramadan, teaches you to sacrifice and to give out. You know, like in Saudi Arabia, most of the scholars and most of the rich men, they do bring out, they do pay their zakah in Ramadan. So which means Ramadan comes to remind them that the poor have a share of a portion of your wealth. So these lessons that Ramadan teaches us makes us to be better human beings. Such that even after Ramadan, due to the lessons we would learn in Ramadan, if we really do it intentionally, properly, the way it should be done, number one, the Ramadan is not all about abstaining from food, abstaining from sex, abstaining from other vices. No, it goes beyond that. Ramadan, it goes beyond that. Such that even after Ramadan, you expected that those lessons that you've learned from Ramadan, you should be able to exhibit them in your daily attitude, daily life.
Exactly.
For example, yes, for example, you have a poor man by your side, by beside your house. Now, due to Ramadan, the sacrifice that Ramadan teaches you, you can tell your family, okay, let us fast a day so that we can reserve this food for these poor people. And you see that the lessons of Ramadan is now practically being implemented in your life.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, within the society, if all the societies are to imbibe the lessons of Ramadan, based on the teachings of Ramadan, number one, you would not be backbiting. Two, you would not fight. Prophet said that if you are fasting, if anybody says, I want to fight you, tell them that I am fasting, I cannot fight. You can say that Ramadan is preventing you from fighting. Then you shouldn't fight. Then you should not commit a dhulm, injustice, during Ramadan. Because all these issues actually reduce the reward that you get from Ramadan. So if you are to enjoy or to go along with the lessons you learn from Ramadan, it means that our society should have less. We do not have scientific research to tell us, okay, how crimes has reduced in society. But then Ramadan helps, number one, in increasing the unity of the people, because after you break your fast from dusk to dawn, after you break your fast, you all unite together in the mosque and pray for the society, pray for the country, and pray for yourself. That unity, Ramadan is there to teach us the unity. Then Ramadan also helps us to reduce the crime in the society. So if everybody is fasting, then we should expect that criminal tendencies, criminal attitudes, criminal crimes will reduce. We expect that it should reduce. If really the Muslims are actually fasting the way it should be. Okay? Then Ramadan also helps us, the society, to come to our brothers keepers. For example, in some areas, you will see that the men of the areas will go to each houses to contribute, to distribute foodstuffs, to distribute the things that people will breakfast with. You know, the rich men will do that in the society. That also teaches you, the poor man, also that you should also be a brother's keeper. Right. So then the Ramadan also makes us to be eager in trying to attain reward. The hadith says that the Prophet is the Prophet. We have never seen a month that Prophet gives out charity more than in the month of Ramadan. So, which is telling us, the followers, that we should try to be extending the hand of kindness, the heart of kindness to Muslims and even non-Muslims, because they are your neighbors. According to Islam, 40 houses from your left is your neighbor. 40 yes. houses, not 1, 2, 3 houses. 1, 2, when you count
houses.
40 houses from your left is your neighbor. 40 houses from your right is your neighbor. 40 houses in front of you is your neighbor. Back of you is your neighbor, which means do not harm your neighbors. The hadith is saying that la darar wa la dirar. Do not harm and do not reciprocate harm with harm. So which means in Ramadan, if you are extending al-khairat, good things, then remember your neighbors, whether they are Muslims or non-Muslims, extend that good tidings of Ramadan. So generally, even in your market space, in Ramadan, we expect that Muslims should be kind enough to reduce the cost of prices. We should not use the Ramadan as an avenue to exploit other Muslims. So these are some of the few lessons or the benefits of Ramadan in the society.
Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on the importance of Ramadan and how it benefits society, particularly how during that period let us stay away from bad behaviors. Thank you very much, sir. That was very insightful. So, from your explanation, Ramadan is not all about abstinence from food. You know, there are many endeavors encouraged as they are rewarded as acts of worship, that is ibadah. So, kindly expatiate on rewarding endeavors and others regarded as sinful acts in Ramadan.
Okay. Now, just like you said, taking off from what you said, actually on what I emphasized, Ramadan is not all about abstaining from food.
Yes.
You know, food is energy. And once somebody consumes, he has the energy to commit sins. He has the energy to do other things that are bad. Equally, similarly, if he consumes food, he will have the energy to do good things, right? So Ramadan is training you to avoid bad things, because nobody wants to reduce the reward that he will earn from Ramadan. So with that, inculcating that attitude of abstaining from the bad things, it is expected that Ramadan will take you through all the years, so that you always be good to people. You get? So now, the reward of Ramadan has not been mentioned in the Quran.
Okay.
Because the Prophet said that in the Hadith al-Qudus are very sublime hadiths that where Almighty Allah is speaking in the mouth of the Prophet. That means he's speaking through the Prophet. They are not direct. So he says that as-sawm junnah, that fasting is like a shield. Fasting, Ramadan, that's why we said it's not all about eating or abstaining from food. No, fasting is like a shield. So it shields you, it prevents you from committing sins. It
protects us. When you talk about
protects us
in protection.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's like a shield, because if you are fasting, the tendencies to do bad things, to do something that requires a lot of energy, you abstain from that, right? So now, the Ramadan fasting as itself, just like the Prophet said that if anybody fasts a day, nafila fasting, that Almighty Allah, the reward is like Allah will prevent your face, meaning prevent you from hellfire. So every good deed that you do, according to the hadith, you have 10 rewards. Let's say I give you 10 naira now. The reward I will get on the day of judgment is 10 times 10, 100, right? It's an investment I'm doing, right? fasting, because it is between you and God. The extent of your compliance with the principles of fasting will determine the reward that you have. You will see that somebody is fasting, but is abusing that person, is abusing this one, is abusing that. You can't compare with somebody who is fasting who is not in those things. So that's why the reward of fasting is not like 10 times, but it is it's not revealed. It's concealed. It's Almighty Allah that would reward human being. But the good things, like I give you one bag of rice, the reward of one bag of rice, I'll be rewarded with 10 bags of rice. Because each of these good deeds, man ja'a bil hasana, based on the Quran, anybody who does good deeds, falahu ashru amthaliha, you'll be paid times 10 folds. So doing all those good deeds in Ramadan, they have their own peculiar reward, which is times 10. Okay? But fasting is concealed. It's Almighty Allah that will pay the person who is doing that, who is fasting, observing the fasting.
Definitely, Sheikh. The reward of fasting is uncountable, as you said from the Almighty. May the Almighty accept our ibadah.
Amen.
So, the last question I have is that what is your advice to the Muslim younger generation on fasting in Ramadan? As it can sanction other than its rewards.
Yes, my advice to all the younger generations is that Ramadan is an opportunity for them. Even when they are scared, it's an opportunity for them to practice the fasting as should be. Number one, you have good intention. That you are fasting not for anything, not because they want to say in the house that, hey, Ibrahim has fasted today, Jibril fasted, he's fasting tomorrow. No, you are fasting to train yourself. Then to earn reward, and then to observe, to obey Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah says, Kutiba alaykum musiyam kama kutiba alaykum min qabl alaykum tattaqun. Fasting has been prescribed upon you, just like fasting was prescribed for the people before you. Jesus, Isa alayhi salam fasted. So fasting is not only al ummah Islamiyah, not only our Muslim ummah, but it has been a practice even in the previous religion. So now, when you observe the fasting, you're actually following the instructions of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So a day before the fasting, some of the practicalities that I would advise them to do is, number one, clean your intention. Clear your conscience that you are fasting for the sake of Almighty Allah, not fasting because others to hear that you are fasting. No, I'm also fasting. Tomorrow is fasting. I'm also fasting. No. Just do because you are trying to observe the 5 pillars of Islam. Just like you go to the mosque and pray.
As it is mandatory for us. It is mandatory for us to fast.
Exactly, it's mandatory for us to fast. It's only that there are some few people that fasting might not be mandatory upon them. For example, an old woman or an old man who probably fasting is going to cause more damage to him due to the now he has low immunity. He has so many things are now at their last stage. So in this one, Sharia permits them to eat, not to fast. But you can expiate. You can pay for that day by feeding. Okay, old people is not mandatory on them to fast.
Travelers.
Yes, travelers is not mandatory on them to fast. And a pregnant woman is not mandatory on her fast. But if she can fast, if she has the ability, if she has the strength, if she doesn't fear for her life, if she can accommodate it, then she's allowed to fast.
And also nursing mothers.
Nursing mother, if they feel that nursing breastfeeding the child, because it's actually a lot of energy that goes into that. So and then once the energy goes, she has to eat food, right? But because of fasting, she might not have to. But if she's unable to do that, if she's scared that it's going to harm her life and the child's life, then she has to drop the fasting.
Okay.
Please try to understand there are two differences here. One, she's not scared of her own life if she fasts, but she's scared of the life of the child. In this case, she has to drop the fasting She
Okay.
will repay the fasting back, but she will again feed every
Oh,
day
okay, okay.
because she has dropped the fasting because of the child, not because of herself. You get my point, right? If she's dropping the fasting because of the two lives involved will be detrimental to their life, then she will only fast. If she's dropping the fasting because of the child, then she has to be paying every day. She will repeat she will repay the fasting after the month of Ramadan when she is strong enough. But in that Ramadan, since because she's eating, she will be feeding miskinan, a pauper, one pauper each day. You get my point, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is it. Yes. Then those who are traveling, Sharia allows them to break their fast. But if you are traveling because you want to escape Ramadan, then it is a sin
Hmm.
to drop your fasting. Because some people say, okay, since Sharia said traveling is an avenue for me to not to fast, let me do wayo, let me use our broken, let me do trick, let me play trick and travel so that I will not fast.
Hmm.
You will fast.
It's not
It's a
allowed.
sin. It's not allowed. It's a sin.
Allowed.
It's a sin. So don't play games. You know. So then the youth should take it as an opportunity to learn the virtues of fasting.
Hmm.
Try, and then another thing again, I would advise during the month of Ramadan, the best things that you can do is recitation of the Holy Quran.
Okay.
Use this opportunity. I know that most of the activities in our life, our exams, our classes, our school, this, we might not have the chance to read Quran. But Ramadan should be an opportunity for you to open the Quran from the first verse to the last verse to complete the Quran. I remember those days when we were young, we used to compete. How many times have you finished the Quran in Ramadan? I'll say, this is my third time now. Some will say, oh, since Ramadan is 30 days, the first 10 days I will finish the Quran. Again, the second 10 days I'll try to do the Quran. And you remember that the first 10 days, according to the hadith, is Rahmah. Okay? Rahmah. The first 10 days is a blessing. The whole 10 days from day 1 of Ramadan to the 10 of Ramadan, according to the hadith, is blessings and Rahmah. And if you look at it very well, sister, if you look at it very well, those first 10 days, your body is trying to adjust to the new reality. You will discover that fasting in Ramadan is much easier than fasting in normal days.
Yes.
Normal days will be very difficult,
Hmm.
very difficult. You find it very hard unless you have that strong heart. But the first 10 days, you discover because of the Rahmah of Ramadan, it becomes normal. After the first day, second day, you see everything becomes normal. You feel your heart. You're settled. You love it. You want to continue. Then the second 10 days is maghfirah, is forgiveness. After
Forgive.
you've imbibed the attitude of Ramadan, the lessons of Ramadan, then the second 10 days is forgiveness. Then the last 10 days, it's ijkum and nar, is our creed and our belief. So, as a youth, try to enjoy, take the Ramadan as a pillar. Just pray to Almighty Allah to ask, to allow you to do the Ramadan as it should be. Most of the Sahaba, they used to pray in Rajab. They used to pray to Almighty Allah to give them the life to reach Ramadan. And not only to reach Ramadan, Allah should not try them with sickness or try them with certain calamity that they'll be unable to fast Ramadan because of the blessings of Ramadan. One of the blessings of Ramadan is that when you open your mouth and pray and ask Allah for anything, there are three people that Almighty Allah accepts their prayer. A father or a mother that prays for his own child or prays against his own child. The prayer is automatically accepted. A person who is fasting, if he prays, the prayer is automatically accepted. So Ramadan is an avenue because there's fasting in your mouth. Then you pray to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you discover that your prayers will be accepted. So then some of the youths would say, okay, Almighty Allah, I want to be a medical doctor. So, okay, Ramadan is coming for you. It's an opportunity for you to pray and ask Almighty Allah to allow you to become a medical doctor and to give you the ease to be a medical doctor. Okay? Then the third person that is very excited is a person who is traveling. So a traveler, look at a traveler. Just imagine this. You are a traveler and you have fasting in your mouth. Although the fasting is you are allowed to break, but you decide, okay, no, I can bear it. I can bear it. Then you're traveling and you are fasting. You're fasting, and in Ramadan, you can see that there are good avenues. There are good chances that anything you ask Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be accepted. So as a youth, that is all what you should pray to Almighty Allah. observe, try to read the Quran as it should be, and try to extend good things. Try to help people in Ramadan. The little you have, try to extend it to other people. Because there are some families that they won't even have the food to fast. Neither do they have that date palm or milk or tea or whatever to break the fasting. So you try to look for those people and help them as a youth, because tomorrow you're going to be the leader tomorrow. So these are some of the few things that we expect that the youth should put at the back of their mind while they approach Ramadan in good faith and and ask Almighty Allah to allow them to practicalize Ramadan as it should be. Not when you are fasting, you say, okay, I'm very weak today. Let me just let me on the TV so I'll be watching some films, because that will while away some time for me. You know, you see, Ramadan is fast now from morning till dawn till 6 o'clock in the evening. It's too long. Let me be watching TV so that I can reduce I can reduce the difficulty. No, as a youth, no. Use that time to do certain
Okay.
good things.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Very much. A lot has been said, on the benefits of Ramadan and why we should fast and how it benefits society. So, do you have any final thoughts you want to share? Your final thought for Nigerians during these holy months?
Okay.
Before
Now,
we wrap
uh,
up
now
conversation.
exactly. So Alhamdulillah, since Ramadan is barely some few weeks to come, um, I'm trying to encourage all the Muslims that we should try to fast the Ramadan to the letter. We should try to observe the Ramadan, how the Prophet ﷺ was fasting his own Ramadan. Jibreel alayhi salam, Angel Gabriel, Jibreel alayhi salam used to come to Prophet ﷺ to revise with him Al-Quran in the month of Ramadan. And there is a night in the month of Ramadan called Laylatul Qadr, 27, or the odd numbers, the last 10 odd numbers, 20, 21, 23, 25, 27, 29. These are the odd numbers as part of Ramadan. So my advice to the Muslims is that if you are trying to strive to look for Laylatul Qadr, the night of the magnificent night, where
Night with the majesty.
the majesty, the night of majesty, you understand? If you are trying to look for it, try to do all the nights. Do the tahajjud and pray the whole Taraweeh. Don't
Okay.
don't leave anyone. Don't say today is 26. I will not be serious. No, all the 10. Try to be serious all the 10, so that you know very well that your investment in all these nights, one must hit the night of the majesty, right? That's the Qadr. So my advice is that let us use this opportunity to pray for this our country. We don't have another country other than Nigeria. Let's use the opportunity to pray for Nigeria. Let's use the opportunity to do the fasting as it should be, based on the dictates of Prophet ﷺ, the way Prophet ﷺ taught his Sahaba to fast. Let us go and learn how the fasting has been is done. Then also, my advice to them also, there are certain things that some of the mistakes that some people do in Ramadan. For example, now in Ramadan, as a Muslim, if you have medical conditions that requires you to take injections, but if the injection is not a food, then there is no problem. But if injection is a food, then try to avoid, try to break that day so that you know you are taking medication, right? So, I don't know, there are so many things to say, but sometimes when you are talking, certain things come in and remind you. So, another mistake that Muslims do is that in terms of the sahur, that is the meal, the food that you take
Dawn.
in dusk,
Dawn
which
in
is
the
after
morning.
before in the morning before Fajr. You are expected to take it to the last minute, meaning at least 30 minutes before the call for prayer, the Fajr prayer. That is the best time you're supposed to take this sahur. While the iftar, which is the one you take before you break the fast, you're expected to take it very fast. Don't
Okay.
delay. Don't sit down and consume all your meal before you go for Maghrib prayer. No, 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 no. Maghrib, you take very little things. For example, take pineapple, take date palm, just take something brief. Go and pray. After prayer, then you cannot consume as you wish to consume. Not do the opposite. During the Fajr time, during the dusk, you will be in haste to take your meal. No. It is the other one that yes, the breaking of fasting, you have to do it very fast so that you can go to Maghrib and pray and then come back. And don't take heavy food. It's expected, even medically, your stomach has been empty for some time. Don't just bring in food and ask it to digest everything. No, take
One needs
something light.
is or fasting on time.
Exactly. So then jealously guard your fasting. That's my final thought. Don't allow things that will break your fasting. Looking up and down, looking at women up and down, looking up. These are things that reduce the reward of your fasting. Try to jealously guard your fasting so that you don't reduce your reward. So there are many things to say, but these are the few thoughts that I wish to extend to our Muslim brothers and sisters, inshallah.
Jazakumullah khairan, Sheikh. I really appreciate your time. At least I got some key takeaways from your discussion, where you talk about the importance of Ramadan and why we should fast and how it benefits society. Also, by reading the Holy Quran, by praying, by fasting, and also as we read the Holy Quran, it makes our attention draw closer to the Almighty. May the Almighty accept
Yes.
all our ibadah. Thank you very much. I appreciate. It was very insightful. Thank you, sir. Enjoy your day, sir.
Yes. Okay, thank you. I wish you all the best, and may Almighty Allah bless our efforts and then make it a reward for us on the day of judgment when we shall not be on the earth. Thank you.
Amen. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed it. See you next week. Assalamu alaikum.